Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for
for
which
which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome to the Attleboro School Committee meeting of Monday, November 13th, 2023. This is your reminder this meeting is being electronically recorded. First item of business tonight, the Attleboro School Committee will convene an executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapters 30A, Section 31A, 2, and 3 to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting, because an open meeting might have a detrimental effect. Collective bargaining may also be conducted. The committee will return to an open session immediately following the end of executive session. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Sawyer?
Yes.
Mr. Frappier?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Geddes?
Yes.
Mr. Withers, yes. Mr. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Storrs?
Yes.
Ms. Porto?
Yes.
Mr. Domenici?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to go into executive session. As soon as executive session is over, we'll call the public back up. At this time, for the members that are here for the hearing before the committee, please come forward. For those who are not here, please take a step outside and we'll call you back in as soon as we're back in open session. All right, welcome back to open session. Welcome to the Attleboro School Committee meeting of Monday, November 13th, 2023. The notice is already given, but since we have a lot of new faces in here now, I'll remind everyone that this meeting is being electronically recorded. We're going to start tonight with a spotlight presentation for our early learning center. And so to kick us off with introductions, I'll turn it over to Ms. Regan.
Thank you, Chairman Withers. So tonight we're thrilled to have representatives from the Early Learning Center with us. They'll be sharing their experiences with PBIS and how they've used this integrated model to help students develop language skills, social skills, and valuable character traits that can be applied to other settings outside of the classroom. So to kick us off tonight, we'd like to first introduce Principal Rich.
That was awesome. I'd like to thank the committee for inviting us to be here. Out of the sake of the hour and the average age of our attendees, I'll spare you all my 20-minute introduction. And just, we have some very excited superheroes who are here, super friends rather, and I'm going to turn it over to my assistant principal, Meg Thompson, who will lead us through the rest of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having us. So the ELC, which is a great thing, continues to grow every year. Just like Attleboro, our enrollment is increasing. We are seeing more and more students moving into Attleboro, as well as just people who want to be on our wait list. Our wait list has never been this long before, and I think a lot of it has to do with the word of mouth that our parents give on Facebook, to be honest, because we all have great expectations of our program, and our program does great things for our kids. So last year we actually opened up another classroom. So now we have a total of 8 inclusion classrooms and 1 separate classroom, and we still continue to grow as it is. So we are seeing more and more referrals coming in from EI, as well as more families calling for the wait list, as I had said. We already have a list of people who are calling about next year's enrollment. And we have had, last year we had, the most amount of pure spots that we've had, just due to the COVID rollout. And now we're going to be down to around 74 open spots for next year, which is great. Just some of the trends that we're seeing is we are seeing an increase in autism diagnoses. So out of our 103 students on IEPs, 52 of them currently receive ABA services, which is a trend that we are seeing statewide, not just in Attleboro. We're also seeing more and more kids who it's their first time in a school experience. They weren't in daycares during COVID. These are our true COVID babies. We're getting the kids born in 2020 this year. And we definitely, are seeing the joy of they're all excited to come. Right, guys? Yeah. They're all excited to come to class. We see happy smiles all the time. And then we are also part of the Pyramid Model Consortium. So if you look at the Pyramid Model, there are 3 different layers. We all do, as teachers, the universal promotion for all the kids, which is just a high-quality education in a public setting. Our PBIS is our secondary, which is targeting our social emotional supports, which is what our program is. We have been meeting with a coach monthly that the state has given us as well, which has been great because we are talking about increasing our family engagement opportunities, as well as some of the goals that we want to make as a school. We do have actually 2 of our members who are here, Kathy Daly, who is one of our members, as well as Lauren Mulready, who's one of our members of our PBIS board. So we meet monthly with this coach, and we go over what's going well, what's not going well, what we can actually do to help support our students. ELC has been involved with the pyramid model since 2015. So we still have that, relationship with DESE regarding that, which is great. We send out monthly the Backpack Connection series, which actually Lauren is going to be telling us a little bit more about when we get into the program, which is the next slide. So what is a Super Friend? Our Super Friends was actually created by Lauren, as well as illustrated by Wayne Stokes, who is a former ELC parent. So I'm actually going to invite Lauren up to tell us a little bit about how she came up with.
So I was part of the PBIS team for Thatcher for a couple of years when they came out with the early childhood version, and which is PBS. And so I underwent all the trainings that went along with PBIS through Thatcher. And so when it came to the ELC, it was different trainings, but still very similar. And as a team, we came up with what we felt were the 4 character traits that we wanted for the Early Learning Center, and that was be respectful, be responsible, be safe, and be kind. We talked a lot about the weight of the vocabulary, being respectful and responsible. Could 3- and 4-year-olds really understand those words? And yes, they can. It's just what respectful and responsible looks like to a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old certainly is different than an 8-year-old. So we went through all of those things, and then it became time to come up with a way to teach it to the children. At the elementary level, they have signs everywhere with lists, teaching them how to be respectful, but of course preschoolers don't read. So I decided to write a series of social stories, and it's based on our centers. So you can be a super friend at the Block Center, you can be a super friend at the Easel at the Dramatic Play Center, or you can be a super friend at Circle Time or during cleaning up the classroom. And so I broke it down by centers, and then I broke it down by the routine of the day, so that the children are explicitly taught what the expectations are. So what does it look like to be a super friend at Blocks? How are you respectful at Blocks? Well, you keep the other children's blocks up. You share space and materials. How are you kind? You invite somebody to play. You compliment a friend on what they've built. Being responsible is cleaning them up, keeping them down on the floor. Being safe, keeping those blocks down so they're not flying across the room, so that it was really broke down, so the expectations on what we expected the children to do was broken down. And kids love superheroes, of course, and being a super friend is just very appealing to them. So we wrote the social stories, and they teach positive behaviors. And then, because there needed to be a home component, I wrote you can be a super friend at home. And so what does it look like to be those 4 character traits within the house? And like being respectful is listening to your parents, and keeping yourself clean, and all those kinds of steps that kids can do. And what happens is we send a paw home. So we sent home the Be Kind paw, and the parents write how they were kind at home. And it comes into school, and we hang it up, and they get to put a pom-pom in a jar. When the jar fills up, we get to have a community-wide program. We didn't want to do it by classroom because we really wanted to build a sense of community within the ELC. So that happens after we do a Super Friends parade, after the children have learned the program and they understand what those words mostly mean. It's a learning process, and it takes all year really to learn. But once they learn that, then we start the home program too, and we continue it throughout the whole year.
So our Super Friends Parade actually just happened last week, the day before Halloween. And so as you can see based on the pictures, these are all pictures from this year. Thatcher really does a great job at supporting our ELC students. All the students lined up in the hallway, we're clapping them on, and as you can see, our students were ecstatic that they were getting high fives from all the older kids. Even our Project Success kids got into giving the high fives, because a lot of those kids were ours. So they know the parade very well, and they were in it. So as we said, the paw goes home. There's a book that goes home. They get the incentive. Last year, our incentive was the Reptile Nook, which our PTO is great, and they actually pay for our incentive for us. And this year, we're doing Mad Science, and then there's one more that we're probably going to be doing in June. We just haven't figured out what it is yet. We did bring back our family engagement this year. We brought it back in person since before COVID. We had tried to do it in the spring. Spring's a busy time for everybody with sports, soccer, everything. So we had more people come this fall, and we did it right before we kicked off our program. So parents were able to understand what exactly we're asking them to do and how to support each other at home. Okay, so there is a video, but we actually have the kids here. So we're gonna actually bring the kids up. Bring them up. You weren't sure how many we're gonna actually talk, so that's just backup. Maya, do you wanna talk? All right, so Maya, Zach, you wanna talk
If
too?
parents want to come line the walls to take pictures, they're free to do so as well.
Ready? Come on up, Julian, come on up.
Hang on, we're gonna ask them why they're super friend first.
Oh, okay, I see.
We're gonna ask first, then we're all gonna sing the super friend song together. Which is why you guys all have the lyrics.
Take some notes.
All right, so we're gonna ask Maya first. Maya, what makes you a super friend?
Being kind.
How are you kind?
Asking a friend.
Asking a friend to play, exactly. Zach, how are you a super friend?
When someone isn't playing with somebody and then you go and play with somebody. That's a word.
Exactly. Tyler, do you want to tell us why you're a super friend? Little shy. Okay. Lynn, do you want to tell us? Yeah? Why don't you tell everybody why you're a super friend? Come here. Go ahead. Tell everybody why you're a super friend. Because you're safe and kind. How are you safe and kind, though?
What can you do that's safe, Julian? What do you do at school that's safe? Keep the toys down? Yeah, you do. You do a great job.
All right, and on that note, we are going to sing our song together.
Okay.
Okay.
With us?
Are you ready? Just like at school. We are the super friends of ELC. We learn more than ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Respectful, responsible, safe and kind. We all can do it, just make up your mind. Let me hear you sing loud. Respectful, responsible, safe and kind. When we follow rules, we're learning here at school. It makes us feel proud. We are kind when we ask a friend to play. We are safe as we all learn how to play. We are respectful when we listen to our friends. We're responsible when we do our job. Respectful, responsible, safe and kind. When we follow rules, we're learning here at school. It makes us feel proud. We are the super friends of ELC. We learn more than ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Respectful, responsible, safe and kind. We all can do it, just make up your mind. We all can be a super duper friend.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
Any questions? It's tough to top, so I don't know. Great job.
Oh, that is awesome. When are we getting a comic book? I want an ELC Super Friends comic book.
We could probably do that.
I'm sure you could.
We are starting our Super Friends t-shirt soon, so get you a t-shirt.
Yes, the high school is going to print them for us.
Oh, that's great.
We've got the design, and then we're going to get them printed. So.
Great message.
Great. Thank you.
Great job.
Great job. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Go home and sleep.
Oh, you do?
I love that Mrs. Riggin was singing.
I know we have to practice our song for Steve's friend.
I think I gotta miss it.
Hit the road check.
It's just of your phone.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Come on, lady.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Get your act together. The pen that works.
You're like, yeah, I'm planning to go to college, I guess.
It's great.
Fun fact.
Looking right at you like.
They say, you know. hope so.
Yeah.
Definitely not making practice pick up.
All right. Austin, you ready to sing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Student Advisory Council update.
All right. We're not gonna have something as long as little kids did. I'm just here to introduce the 2 new members. These guys are the juniors, or I should say girls. These girls are the juniors. They're gonna be kind of following along, interacting, so that next year they're gonna have way more experience coming into it. They're gonna be fully ready to help in every single manner. So I'm just gonna let them introduce themselves to the council.
Afterwards? Okay. I'm Carly Duverno. I currently play volleyball for the school, and I also play club volleyball.
I'm Zuri Ferguson, and I currently swim for the school, and I swim club as well. And recently, I committed to swim and study at the University of Florida.
As a junior.
Wow.
Not bad.
Excellent. Well, welcome. Look, so you're going to be joining us at meetings this year as well?
Correct.
Great. Great. Any questions or comments for our student advisory reps?
Welcome.
Mr. Frappier?
Welcome. We're looking forward to see you the rest of the year and next year.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you here and hearing your insights on what's going on in the high school and in the district. And look, congratulations on everything you've accomplished and welcome.
Thank you.
All right, next, Mr. Sawyer, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Chairman. At this time, I'd like to call up 4 students, Jocelyn Connors, Shashank Sridhar, Sean Kaswali, and Vicky Plitzka. One of the joys of being superintendent is that each year, as a result of my membership in both the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents and NESDEC, both those associations provide awards based on the size of our district. I get 2 for each of those, and so I have the opportunity to recognize 4 seniors for their excellence in academics in their career here at Attleboro High School. I'm not at Attleboro High School, so I have to reach out to the high school administration and through the guidance department, get them to help me to find the 4 students who are deserving of such an honor. And I'd like to say that Ms. Campbell and her team always do a fine job of picking the best of what Attleboro has to offer and a representative sample of the kind of great student experiences that are happening here and what it looks like when students make the most of the opportunities we provide our students. So these are our 4 students that are awarded. As you can tell, I didn't know them, so as part of the process, each year I invite them for lunch. We sit down and we chat. I learn a little bit about them. We have here not only 4 students whose academic records are more than deserving of this accolade. I got a chance to hear about their experiences. They come from a range of interests. We have everything from set design to music. We have computer science, medicine. Vicky's the producer of Soup to Nuts. So we have a real fine range of the full set of offerings that Attleboro High School has and what excellence can look like from a variety of perspectives. I was very pleased when I asked them about their experience in the Attleboro Public Schools, and they are long-term Attleboro students. They had very, very nice things to say about their experience, most notably about the difference that the teachers have made in their lives, how that our excellent teachers have provided them not only with the academic experiences that have helped them to flourish, but also showed care and concern for them and helped them to grow and develop and to become the confident young learners who are about to leave us to go out into the world that they have become. And it was just really touching to hear how those efforts were recognized by these students, and I really appreciated that. But I also pressed them for some ideas about things we could do better. And certainly I think one of the things that came out in that conversation was that because good teaching makes such a difference, the absence of it sometimes can stand out. And one of the things that they talked about that we could work on is that not everybody, not all of our educators necessarily are as good at being sensitive to the full range of needs in a large class. And I really appreciated some of the anecdotes that they provided about, how we can work to get better on that front. But I really had to drag that out of them because they had such positive things to say. So anyways, I really appreciated spending some time with them, hearing about, what it's like to be at the end of, a long academic career with us and, what it can look like if you make the most of the opportunities that we're providing. At this time, I'll turn it over to them to talk a little bit about their experience for themselves. So if you want to start.
I am the head drum major of the high school marching band. I joined the marching band in my freshman year, and it's had a huge impact on who I am today. It's actually what my college essay was written about. AHS started off really rough for me because I lived in my sister's shadow for most of my academic career, but through the marching band and through my teacher, Mrs. McCarthy, and then eventually Mrs. Bergeron, as I stepped into my CTE, radio and TV broadcasting, I found who I was, and I wouldn't be able to do that without the teachers here at AHS. And especially when we came to the new building, there was new opportunities, new chances, and I was willing to take them all.
Hello, my name is Jocelyn Connors. I am your current president of the Drama Club. So my experience at AHS, I had begun in the district, very quiet and very reserved. And over the years, I've found with the staff here that they've supported me in finding a voice, so I'm able to stand up for my opinions and actually voice the thoughts that are within my head. So I would particularly like to thank the English department and the arts department for doing so.
Hello, my name is Sean Gaswale. I'm the sprint captain for the track team, and I'm a proud member of Best Buddies. Among a lot of other things I do, I take up a couple of AP classes. I'm in medical assisting, and these things have begun to become more and more central to who I am as a person, because I know years leading up to high school, I didn't really participate in any sort of extracurricular activity. I was kind of just a reserved kid that did my own kind of thing. But being at this school has really put me outside of my comfort zone. I'm learning to discover that I can do anything I put my mind to, and I'm really excited about tolls. I want to thank my teachers. I want to thank Ms. Kirsch, my medical teacher, who's inspired me to believe you can pursue any kind of career, whether it's medicine or, being a teacher. You can change your mind and you can build off of what you've done. And I also want to thank my coach, Mr. Whitefield, who's really told me how to be bold in who you are. Really to hold yourself not above other people, but to hold other people above yourself and to really bring together a community of high-achieving people. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shashank Sridhar. I'm on the tennis and robotics teams. My experience at AHS was tough for the first year. My 9th grade year I did it fully online because of COVID. And it was a tough year for sure. I never met many of my teachers in person. But in 10th grade, everything changed. I felt so motivated. I had some great teachers that really wanted the best out of me. They had high expectations, and it really helped me improve. And ever since 10th grade, I've just been moving fast. It's been a good experience. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to all four of you. It's really a great accomplishment and recognition. Attleboro High, as you guys are well aware, is a huge school. So to be picked out to be recipients of these awards and recognitions is something that I hope you're proud of. I know that your families are. So you really should take great pride in the work that you've done and to get where you are today. Questions or comments, Mr. Geddes?
Thank you. I think this is a very poignant meeting that we started with the very beginning of our educational system, and we're finishing with the end and all of the growth in between. Again, congratulations to all of your accomplishments, and this is really a great opportunity to see the bookends of what Attleboro Public Schools provides. I know it's still early in the process, but have any of you made decisions about next year and where you might be?
I haven't decided a specific school yet, but I do know I want to major in psychology and maybe do some classes with social work so I can eventually work in a school system and help students better than some students have. other school systems as well.
Well, it's no guarantee, but my top choice of schools right now is the University of Notre Dame in Indiana, and I'm interested in pursuing architecture with a minor in either film or theater to eventually work in set design, hopefully. If not, I also like commercial architecture as well.
I want to study medical anthropology and social working at Brown University. Really, it's because the community of people there just at an Ivy League is just people that constantly want to do something, and they don't all know what they want to do, but they do all know what they want to do. And I want to be like that.
I'm going to major in computer science. I'm just going to apply to a lot of schools, see what I get into. But I want to be able to help the world. Something like Khan Academy means so much. Being able to provide resources to students that want to teach themselves, that don't have access to all those resources. It would be a great thing to do. So I'd be very proud if I made something like that.
Well, congratulations to all of you, and I'm sure we'll be celebrating you again throughout the year. Thank you.
Mrs. Storrs?
Yeah, I want to say that the four of you are, you guys are not cookie cutter. You guys are the spectrum of what we have here at the school, and I love seeing that, from drama to music. So quick questions. What instrument?
I play mostly percussion, so our male instruments like our xylophone, but I can play saxophone as well.
As a drummer, yes. Okay, next. What's our next major production?
Clue. It
Clue.
is December 1st and 2nd, and I play Miss Scarlet.
See how I did that? Oh, you're playing Miss Scarlet. Nice.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
What?
Did you do it? You're not going to. Okay. What made you decide to look at medical?
Medical. So my family's from Uganda, and a major part of my life is that we are so blessed to have opportunities that I know people back home did not have. So when I look at how much doctors make in America, it's such an amazing thing to see they can change their lives. But if I go back to home, I see people are struggling even to get a glass of water, let alone like any sort of medical treatment. So I'd want to go back and do some sort of vaccinations and build up the public health system that can really teach people how to protect themselves.
Wow, impressive. And computers, how did you get into computers?
I've always I've always used them. I played a lot of games growing up, of course. But yeah, computers, I've always been pretty good at them, but I feel like they're just such an important part of our life, especially with AI. It's a very scary thing, but if we use it correctly, I think it could have benefits.
Great, and congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll conclude by saying that the significance of these certificates pales in comparison to the dividends bestowed by their achievements. So it's really, my pleasure and honor to be able to kind of ride in on their success for a brief period and enjoy getting to spend some time with them. So thank you very much. Okay, moving on. I wanted to update the committee. I had the family forum on cell phones since we last met. While I have to admit I didn't attract a throng for that event, I really did appreciate the parents who did come. We did have a small crowd, but a very thoughtful one. Had lots of good questions, provided some good feedback. It was an affirmation, I thought, that we have the right thinking about this and we're headed in the right direction. Next steps is I'm going to be meeting with some faculty members who have some feedback for us, and we're also setting up a focus group with students here at the high school as well. Want to make sure to get their input. We'll be putting together a proposal that you'll be receiving for January on a possible policy for cell phones. So that remains on track, and again, the forum was a positive experience. Thank you for those that were able to attend. Final thing, I'm going to invite Mr. Furtado up. Bit of hot off the presses business that he'd like to get some feedback from the committee on in relation to energy prices.
Thank you. As the Finance Committee knows, our current electricity contract expires on the 15th of December. I received pricing today for our new contract. At that time, two options were presented, and they're usually not this close, but one, we're currently at 9.16 cents per kilowatt hour. One proposal was for 12 months at 13.3 cents. And the second one was for 3 years at 13.1 cent. I'm getting to an age where I feel a little bit like Don Quixote. I'm on my donkey looking for some windmills. I really do believe we're close to an inflection point in terms of energy, specifically in this country with renewables. And in this particular case, felt better about the 1-year deal than the 3-year deal. However, I thought that it would be important to get some feedback from the committee on this. The 1-year deal is an increase of $70,000 a year. The 3-year deal is an increase of 80,000. I'm sorry. The 1-year deal is 80. The 3-year deal is 70. We would see an increase next year of $80,000 if we do the 1-year deal. We see an increase of $70,000 if we do the 3-year deal. But relative to where we are today, would be quite a bit higher in 3 years.
So it's a $10,000 difference.
Yeah.
What has the? So I appreciate your optimism. But it's one of the things I always liked about you, Mr. Furtado. So optimistic. But what has the trend been with the prices over the past 5 or 6 years? Because I guess the bet we'd be making is that energy prices would stabilize or go down in a year, which.
Yeah. So our current contract, the 9.1 cents, that was we hit it pretty well and took it out as long as we could. I think that was a 42-month agreement. In building this building, the construction manager did their own electricity deal. That's for this building, and it's been in place since then, which is a little burr on my saddle, but and that's at 17.5 cents. So, relatively speaking, in the context of today, the 13-cent number is a pretty good number. I was actually hoping for 11, but it never happened. So.
Mrs. Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Withers. The rates that are being presented to us, you said this is per kilowatt hour. What about the transportation costs of the energy?
Yeah, this is not that. This is simply the commodity electricity. The distribution is done by.
And so these numbers don't affect that. Like for the 3-year program, it's not lower or higher for, okay.
Mrs. Torres?
So years ago, I know that we did the whole solar arm thingy, whatever you want to call that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
How does that impact this, or how does it relate to this?
It doesn't. So those are 15-year fixed contracts. They're all still in place with a flat rate of a 15% reduction in the cost of electricity from that at that time.
So this figure that we're being provided is offset by that? Or
Offset by that.
It is. Okay. So effectively, if we didn't have that, this would be 15. Each of those quotes would have been 15% higher.
15% higher. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mr. Frappier?
Just a question, because I know the city is on the aggregation program. I'm saying we go with that price. It's 15.7 cents for standard and 17.3 for green. Is there any green energy initiatives in either of those 2 price points you offered us, or is it just standard market, wherever the source of the energy is, it is?
The way we have purchased historically and continue to do so is it's like the stock market. It's whatever the market is at that particular point in time. These quotes, are kind of good for 24, 48 hours, and after that we lose it. So
Oh, sorry, I meant the origin of the energy. Does it say any guarantee about green energy sources or oil or coal?
No.
Or okay,
No.
thank you.
So, Mr. Larson, go ahead. You haven't spoken yet.
That's okay. I would love to share Mr. Furtado's optimism. I really would.
You're going to say what I say anyway.
And I think green energy is an important part of our future, but we continue in the Northeast to take more and more power sources offline.
Yep.
We become dependent on the Canadians and people in Pennsylvania and the rest of it for our electric use. I don't see the cost of electricity going down in the future, my personal opinion. It may come from different places. It might come from wind, it might come from solar, it might come from whatever. But we continue to take pipelines offline, we continue to take power plants offline, and green energy is a good thing as long as it's subsidized by the government, but otherwise it's not commercially viable. So my recommendation would be to go for the 3-year because it's fixed. I would love to share your optimism, I really would, but
Why I'm here. Yeah.
I understand.
Is that a motion?
It's not a motion, it's just my recommendation would be to stay with a 3-year contract, but I'd like to hear the rest of everybody else's opinions.
I agree with Mr. Larson. Especially since the difference in the 1 year and the 3 years is so small, and given everything that's going on, in the world and economically, I'd rather play it safer. It would be my recommendation as well, Mr. Storrs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, seeing how energy costs have increased over the past, let's say, 3 years, not correlating that to anything, but people can do that if they want. 50% increase almost makes a lot of sense. So I could see why the prices are jumping as much as they are. If you could tell me what's going to happen next November, I might be willing to go with the 1 year, but since you're probably not going to be able to do that, I agree. I think the 3-year is probably the better bet.
Anyone else? Thoughts, comments? Have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Yep.
A motion to accept the 3-year contract at 13.1% per kilowatt hour.
So moved. So moved. Second? Okay. Discussion, any further discussion, comments? Anything else from you, Mr. Furtado, before we vote? Mr. Demichi?
Quick question. I mean, because we've had the building up live for a year now, right? But at a significantly higher rate. There's no way to, is there any way to ballpark or gauge, besides the actual cost savings of 4 cents per kilowatt hour, this building was built in such a way that was supposed to be savings, right? And it's bigger than the old high school, but is there a way for you to estimate whether or not in this past year that we're seeing it?
It's, it was built to be efficient.
Yeah, in terms of usage.
Savings is probably wrong.
Okay.
It's tripled our electric bill from the old high school.
Mr. Larson?
Okay.
Just to that comment, I'd just like to put that comment in context. A lot of the classrooms that we had in the old building had 2 outlets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we're up to code now.
Oh, no.
We have many more programs in the CTE program that we're running. There are things that we are doing in this building that we physically could not electrically do in the old building. So, for as much as people love to do comparisons, to try to compare the other building to this building from an electrical point of view, it's apples and oranges completely. The things that we're doing here electrically versus over there, my personal opinion, there's not a comparison you can really make.
Well, I think the 4 cents per kilowatt savings then
I think that's the best we can offer.
We'll go with that.
I just want to point out that even though the electric bill has tripled, on the finance committee, we also learned that the heating bill has cut almost in half.
Yeah.
So there is a benefit. It's not just more electricity, we are saving in other spots.
But we aren't warming the great outdoors.
I'm just letting everyone know, because they're not in those meetings, that I just want to share that we do have good news about the new building, not just more electricity.
Absolutely, yes.
It's also not 100 degrees in one building, part of the
It's
building.
true. It's the same temperature.
All right, so we have a motion that's been seconded to accept or enter into the contract for 3 years at 13.1.
13.1.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Sawyer. Next, in executive session, the committee considered potential collective bargaining agreement with the custodial union in Attleboro, and as we do, we now will entertain a motion to approve this agreement in open session. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so again, this is a motion to approve the proposed custodial union collective bargaining agreement. It's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Mr. Domenici?
Yes.
Ms. Porto? Yes. Mr. Storrs?
Yes.
Mr. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Withers, yes. Mr. Geddes?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Frappier?
Yes.
All right. Next, we have minutes from our October 16th, 2023 meeting. The minutes were circulated with your materials. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or edits? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consent agenda, 9 items tonight. Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $20,000 from Bristol County Savings Bank Charitable Foundation to be used in support of the social and emotional needs of Attleboro's families and students. Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $5,500 from the Feinstein Foundation to Wamsutter Middle School. Motion to accept the donation of the following 4 hardcover books from the Rachel Brannigan Educational Foundation to Hill Roberts Elementary School. Chester and Gus by Cammie McGovern with an estimated value of $19. Frankie and Amelia by Cammie McGovern with an estimated value of $22. One and Only Ruby by Catherine Applegate, signed by the author with an estimated value of $25. The Skull by John Klassen with an estimated value of $19.99. Just Because by Matthew McConaughey, signed by the author with an estimated value of $29.99. I'll just amend that to five hardcover books. I believe I had said 4. Motion to accept the tangible items broken down in the letter from the Hyman Fine Elementary School principal dated October 31st from the Hill Roberts. The Hill Roberts or Hyman Fine? From the Hyman Fine PTO. Motion to accept the following donation. The Burlington Store is a national discount retailer offering low prices every day on brand name merchandise for the entire family and home, has donated $5,000 through its partnership with the national nonprofit organization adoptaclassroom.org in celebration of its new store, now open in Attleboro at Bristol Place. Funds will be used towards school supplies to help ensure students at Hill Roberts have learning materials and tools they need to succeed now and in the future. Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $249 from J&D Pizza to the high school gifts donation line. Motion to accept a donation in the amount of $2,500 from the Nolito Carlino Foundation to the Best Buddies program at the high school. Motion to accept a cash donation in the amount of $8,578.60 from the Attleboro High School Booster Club, organized online fundraiser to the Attleboro High School field hockey team. A motion to forward to the Municipal Council for approval prior year invoices in the amount of $417.44 as broken down in the memorandum dated October 31st, 2023 from the Director of Finance.
So moved.
Second.
So a lot of larger donations in the consent agenda today, so I just want to thank all our donors. As a district that struggles with finances and budgeting, we rely on these from the community, so thank you to each and every one of our donors, specifically the ones today, but those that we get throughout the year. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Subcommittee meetings. First report, Finance and Budget. Mr. Larson?
Yes, the Finance and Budget Subcommittee met on November 1st. We met Brittany Parella, I believe. Parella, thank you. She is now working as our Assistant Director of Finance and Operation. Very nice individual. Spent the evening in the meeting with us. Went over a few different items. We're still tracking with a serious issue in transportation, special ed, homeless challenges in transportation. Usually we hit this point sometime in the early spring. We've already hit it now. So going forward, as people come into the district, we're going to continue to run a deficit in these accounts. We had a brief MSBA update talking about the Willett roof basically being just about done, but sounds like there's going to be a possible phase 2 for windows and doors. Willett Air Conditioning is still something that we're looking at doing next summer. Thatcher Air Conditioning the same way. And it sounds like they're down to working out a punch list for the AHS building here. We had no motions to bring forward. If anyone has any questions, that's our report.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Policy and Personnel, Mr. Storrs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Policy and Personnel Subcommittee met on November 6th. First, we had the Students' Court come before us as a update of how things are going since we approved that program back in the spring. To say it's going well, I think, would be an understatement. The students that came before us, strong student leaders. They were very impressive. I think it's safe to say for all of the subcommittee members, we were highly impressed with what they presented. I think it's safe to say that at the end of last year, we were concerned, well, a little concerned that would the group that started this be able to pass this on and have it keep going, and there's no doubt that is happening. This group was great. They've already had a handful of student courts held, and they are expanding, and they are bringing the juniors in, and the program is going extremely well. They have, I think, a backlog, if you want to use that term. I think it's like 14 or 15 cases, so things are happening, and it's being by the students, by the teachers, by the staff. It's being embraced. So this is all good news, and you know, again, impressive group of students that came before us. Next, we had the following policies come out unanimously. First, the first group, I'll do them in groups unless somebody asks me to do any of them separately. We had just review dates, noting the review dates. This is part of our annual or semi-annual, triannual review of policies. Just noting the review date for policies DJ Purchasing, DJA Purchasing Authority, GBEBD, online fundraising and solicitations, crowdfunding, and there was a minor edit, but the minor edit and the review date for IHAMA, parental notification relative to sexual education. No major changes. Everything is in accordance with the law as it's supposed to be. Is everybody okay with taking all those as a group? Okay, seeing that. Those will go right up for a motion, so all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, those are all the noting the review dates and the minor edit as unanimous. Next, there were minor edits for the following policies. Each policy was provided to the members in the packet. Policy ACA, non-discrimination on the basis of sex. ACE, non-discrimination on the basis of disability. ADA, which is our APS strategic plan. DJE, procurement requirements, and IGB, support service programs. Most of the minor edits were to more align with MASC. Is everybody okay with taking those as a group? Yes. Okay, good. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Next, we had a motion to remove policy IE, which is the organizational instruction, as the original purpose of the policy has been addressed by subsequent regulations and laws. So it's felt that it's no longer necessary, and MASC does not have it. So, is there any discussion regarding the removal of policy IE, organizational instruction? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, unanimous. And there were two job descriptions, which were both provided to all members in the packet. The first is a motion to approve the Assistant Director of CTE job description as provided. I think it's safe to say with 18 programs and always looking to expand, having an Assistant Director in this position to provide that assistance, especially after what we saw last week. I think it's safe to say that that's an important position. So are there any questions regarding the Assistant Director of CTE job description? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. And lastly, we have a motion to approve the K-12 Plus Assessment Coordinator job description as presented. Again, this was provided in the packet. Are there any questions regarding this job description? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. And that, Mr. Chairman, concludes my report.
Thank you. That concludes our subcommittee reports for tonight. Next, we have open forum. Open forum is when members of the public can address matters of concern to the committee. If anyone would like to address the committee at open forum, please come forward to the podium. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to state their concerns. All right. Then I will go ahead and close open forum. Any new business? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.